on this rare occasion, that's something that I thought something that would be of interest, and hopefully for future issues of ours, is to talk about our father. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Father and mother.
But especially the old man.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. Mom got to know some of her grandkids. She got to know Maria. Did you get to know Teresa?
No, Maria was born December 3rd, and Mom died December 23rd.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Well, she got to know Max,
Christina.
rather Michael and Christina. Yeah, no, she got to see them. But no one got to know the old man.
No.
And he was a trip. I always said that the worst thing Dad ever did to me was die.
Yeah.
And you know how he celebrated you. Just going up to LaSalle and not understanding a damn thing about football, but enjoying it.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts of it? You were kind of young when he
No,
died.
he was a unique man. My voice cracks when I talk about him. I love him very much. And it's very hard for me to talk about because a lot of stuff that I did with him, I share with him alone. When he go for a walk on a Saturday, and I go with him. And it's very hard to talk. But he's a wonderful man. A wonderful man. And he just had a lot of class. When he walked in a room, man, he was charming. But it was like you, Michael. It's real. It was all real. There was no bull. It came from the bottom of his heart. He enjoyed people. He enjoyed to laugh. Enjoyed good food. And he loved his family. And I can't say more than that.
You said it very succinctly. You said it very well. I'm just thinking, so he would have enjoyed this. But I mean, the whole thing is he could take any situation and just turn it into fun.
With his family, especially.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
it had related to his family.
Oh.
Yes, he
Oh.
could do it.
It was all good as far as he was concerned. I'm just thinking, as a kid growing up, I had asthma as a kid. The care that, without being maudlin about it, he was just there all the time. It was a concern to him, my health. As it would have been if any one of us, if we broke a foot or something, the old man was there.
He was never too busy.
Ever, for any of us. For any of us.
And he wanted to spend time with us, like all day. If we worked, in the summertime we worked, part-time in his office in New York. But he would want us to be with him and learn. He would always teach us. So, and that was something that he really went out of his way to spend the time with us. And I wish I could have done that with my kids, and I haven't.
Well, you are now.
Yeah, I am now, but I can't catch up to what he did. But
He spoiled us.
yeah, right.
Jesus spoiled us rotten. And God bless him for that too. But my mother used to tell him, "You're going to spoil them." And yeah, it's true. But one way or another, I don't know how they'll do it, but I'm teaching them how to have a good time in life. So I don't know what they're going to have to do it, but I can just hear them going now. Waiter, a little more of this.
Better than college education.
Oh, there was a
How
time
much he gave you?
on my 16th birthday, before I became 16, I probably told you this. He told me to go, I said, "Dad, I need a car, I need a car." and that was 1956. So I went to Manhasset Ford. It was almost on Spinney Hills, going into Manhasset. And we picked out an old Ford, you know, it was like a 48 Ford. And I said, I'd really like to have that one. Okay, so you can have that for your birthday. So as we were walking out, there was this white Thunderbird in the showroom.
First year Thunderbirds came out too, wasn't it?
No, 55 was the first one. That's the 56.
Right.
And I looked at the Thunderbird and I said, wow, that's a beautiful car. So when we went home, then my birthday came. So I said, Dad, come with me. Let's go pick up the car. And this is what he did that was smart. He said, go by yourself. Have one of your friends take you, drop you off, and then come back. So I go over there. It was a Saturday morning. I still remember. And the guy, the show guy, the salesman, I go, gives me a key, and I go in the back in the Ford that I thought I was getting. It was a jalopy. And the damn keys didn't fit. And I go, damn it. So I come back and see these two black guys washing this white Thunderbird with a red interior with a Continental kit in the back. So I go to the salesman, I go, the keys don't fit in the car, could you help me? And I'll never forget this. He goes over, sits in the Thunderbird, boom, started, I go, there's a mistake here. He goes, no, that's the car your father built. No, I cried all the way home. I'll never forget that.
You look darn good in it, too.
Yeah, right. It helped a lot. But that
The thing was, you know, he
I
wasn't
had
sort
no idea.
that would go up and say, look what I'm getting for you.
Yeah, right. You did it
It
so...
just, he wanted it, the full impact of it. Now, the next thing, the old man's in the car with you driving, and going, this is a good drive.
Yeah, it was
But he
priceless.
would enjoy everything. Everything. So much. And there are moments, I hope and pray that you guys, in our limited fashion, we've tried to, you know, do a little of that. Unfortunately, not a car, but the joy he felt and the joy in us is something that I can promise you carries on in us. If I see you happy, if I see this one happy, Peter happy, Chris happy, that's a rocket for me.
Yeah.
It really is. And someday, I'm sure that there'll be something that you'll know about. I just want, before I go belly up, and he goes belly up, that it's so sad that he never got to know anything. To really know you, and you didn't get to know him. But it would have been great. He would have loved you. He would have loved you. I've told Mike, check with his mom. How did he treat her?
Well,
What are her feelings about him? He was truly generous of spirit, and it was true. It was all real. It wasn't a game. It wasn't a thing. He didn't do it to make him. To a way to make him feel good, because he felt good watching those he loved well.
or laugh.
If you wanted to see my old man ready to jump off the building and tell him one of us was sick, when Jack had his problems, I never saw my old man that wasted in my life. When they told one of his sons was having psychiatric problems, he didn't know what to do, except get him the best shrink he could get him the best care he could get him. The old man, instead of going home every night, would go to the hospital every night to be with Jack.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about Jack's condition until I was going away to prep school.
I didn't find out till later.
And when I came home, I was met at the airport by the old man is in our station line, and there's a black guy driving. I said, Jesus, things are going good. We have a show. He said, no, I came to see you because I wanted to explain something to you. Your brother is very, very sick. He has some emotional problems, and he's been hospitalized. He's seen a very great psychiatrist, Dr. Laidlaw. He's undergoing shock treatments. Stuff real. And he said, what I've done, he said, I see him first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I wanted to tell you on the way to school, this all happened shortly after you left. This is the situation. The doctors tell me that it's a condition that can be addressed, it can be taken care of, it can be resolved. So I want you to know what it's about. And bingo, he was just, that it drained the hell out of him, the pure joy of his life was this guy. Used to call him spun gold because he did nothing but, he loved, Tommy was his youngest kid. Whether he was kicking a football, catching a baseball, driving around in his car, the old man just thought everything you did was
a good time.
laudable. He loved me very much. In many ways, I feel I had also a special relationship with him. The happiest thing I could do was to please him. The happiest, get good grades. That was, my stuff. I wasn't going to throw a ball further than anybody else or anything like that. We don't have that many. You have the that kit with the 3D pictures.
Those are precious.
I've seen your Thunderbird. I remember it very well.
Mm-hmm.
One of these days, we've got to do a select and go through those, and that'll give you some idea.
You can have enlargements made. I have a question for you that I never thought of before. Where did he come? How did he come upon this behavior that he exhibited to you? Did his father show him the kind of behavior that he showed you?
From what he
I'm
told
just
me,
wondering if it's
he
something.
told me he was very devoted to his father, but his father had gone from Spain to Mexico. That was the way things went in those days. As a Spaniard recently arrived in Mexico, circa 1879 or 1880 or something like that.
That's right.
What he did is he married the daughter of another Spaniard who'd gotten there 40 years ahead of him and started a business and the whole thing. And that was their drill. His wife's name was Flores. She died. She had two sons.
That would
My
be
dad,
your great-great-grandmother.
That would be my grandmother.
Grandmother.
She died in childbirth, with giving birth to my dad's brother, an uncle, which I never met. I don't think you ever met him either.
I thought it was Adrian.
Adrian. But you never met him.
I thought we did.
No, never did, because the old man wouldn't even talk to him.
Why wouldn't he talk to him?
We never made that clear. He felt that that when his mother died giving birth the other day, and that might have been a reason, but I don't think it was. My grandfather couldn't look after two young boys, while he was plotting whatever the hell he plotted in Mexico. So he sent the two of them back to Spain to be raised by relatives in Asturias, right? And that's where they were more or less raised, with aunts and uncles and playing around. I remember
From what
the old
age?
man, from the time my old man was 2 until he was about 10,
Right.
right? And you remember saying, we never had a problem getting a bicycle from the old man. Because he said, I remember the first bike I had. I put it together. A wheel from this guy, a wheel from that guy, a wheel from a wheelbarrow. You know, and a rope. And I was like, I guess this is a bicycle, you know. I mean, he didn't have it pleasant and easy.
Let's take it from, I mean, you could talk about Dad till the day he died, and I think you're doing that now. And I think we should talk in relation to you and me and what our relationship has been with our kids. You know what I mean? I mean, it's great hearing about Grandpa doing what he did in Mexico. And
they're going to
that.
measure us by themselves.
No, exactly. But you know, I've learned things that I can't answer myself. You know, I know Jack was not a good brother. Wasn't a good brother to me. Wasn't a good brother to Ronnie.
He wasn't a good son.
He was a good son.
Was
But answer this.
What?
He's been married to the same woman 53 years.
So what? That's an
It
accomplishment.
must be, yeah, it's a hell of an accomplishment. In my book it is. You know, you can say whatever you want to do. I have never done that. I have not been a good father. I screwed around when I was
He's
young.
been a good father, I think.
And Jack, I'm talking about, and I think, I'm just talking for myself. I wasn't fair to Donna. I know I think she's definitely had some mental illness that I didn't know about when you guys found out about. But I always took the good time and went with the Playboy bunnies, and I had 3 children, and I took care of her. I would pay the money, never walk away on that obligation. But I wasn't a good father. I wasn't, and I'm ashamed of that. And my daughters love me and adore me. I get along with them very, very well.
Yeah.
But the daughters from my second marriage, I was a good father to them. It was just I married a too young girl, and that was a mistake. And I thought it would work, and I didn't. But she's been a pretty good mom, and I love those 2 girls, and they all. And the thing I have that I do enjoy at this stage of my life, I have the 2 daughters from my second marriage, and the children from my first marriage. They're very cohesive, and they all want to see me happy, and that makes
That's
me
an accomplishment.
That makes me the happiest thing in the world. But at the same time, being a bad father, I can't relate to Tommy, my son. It's just been something that I'm ashamed of. I mean, he's been rude to his mother. He's disappointed me. And I was never there, because when I was separated from Donna, I would come over and see the kids, and he'd be in a window, and he'd really cry when I left. But he would do that every week. So in the end run, I mean, he doesn't listen to me. I don't have any communication with him. He doesn't listen to me. He's married 2 women that...
Can I interject something here? Try to keep this light. It's a short thing.
No, you're giving a
That's what
history.
he wants to say.
No, I'm saying what I want to say. You're giving a history of Dad up to Mexico. I know that. I don't want to go through all that. I mean, I'm telling you what I'm trying to tell these guys is, learn from me. Learn from what I did. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you what I've done in my life.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. And I'm ashamed of it. I do have a good relationship, but on the whole, I've been a shitty father, and I'm ashamed of it. And that hurts me. It hurts me a lot. But I can't do anything to change it. So right now, coming close to death last year, which I don't think I did, but everybody said I did. But
Could have fooled me.
you're right, exactly. I got a second shot. I don't know why, but I did. And I'm really, really going to make everything that I can possibly do to get close to my kids, and especially my grandchildren. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
You are doing it.
Yes, I am.
You are doing it.
And it's not to say that to take accolades for. It's something I should have done a long time ago. But so that's where I stand, and that's where and I think the world of my father. I mean, but I've known what he is and what he's done for me. But I don't need a history of him or the kids. I don't think the kids. I'm talking about you guys. I don't think you guys need to have a history of all the way up to him when he passed away.
Well, it's not a history so much time. What I wanted to give them a sense of is they didn't get to know him. He was
Yeah, they did.
sorry for it. No, they didn't. They didn't.
I said, I know. And there's nothing you can do to change that.
Well,
So
but-
move forward.
Right.
I think, as Mike and I were talking about, there's genetics. There's genes in you that relate to him.
Right.
And I see them
I
all the
wish there were
time.
more. And Max.
Yeah, I see them all the time. So, when you sometimes get down on yourself, don't. I know.
Did your father do that with himself?
Yeah, there's a time or two I know that
That he took blame for
no,
things?
yeah, it just.
Well, Jack.
No, yes, he
He
felt
took
it.
blame of
Yeah,
it.
he said,
He took blame of that.
What did I do that created, that resulted in this? So the only reason I brought up the old man was so that someone remembers our talking about him.
Right. Oh,
And I
absolutely. And
wanted
honor
to
him.
talk about
And
it.
honor him.
Yeah.
Right.
Now what, you and I, that's better, that's best written than spoken about.
No, I don't mean it to be funny. I just
No,
didn't,
no, I know.
I didn't want to cut you off about giving the history of Dad because I know it and they know it, but unfortunately they didn't get to know him. I want to talk about you and I and how we relate to them and what you can learn from us. I mean, I know what Mike's going through and how he feels, but I don't think it's my place to say to him what to do or how to react. I think it's your place to do it. I can maybe suggest to it, but I don't think that's any of my business.
No, it's not my place to do it. What it is my place is to listen to him.
Right.
Listen to what he's feeling. Because the guy who's got to resolve this and the guy who's going to work his way through it is him.
Right.
Right?
Right.
He'll know what his answers are.
But some of the guidance that we can give him, the things that we've learned in my 65 years,
Yeah.
that he doesn't know in your 70 years, just some of those things that you can tell and pass on to
Well,
him.
my guidance
They're going
is
to be
I
a
don't
lot.
have any answers because it's the relationship between a man and a woman, man, is a tough goddamn thing.
I'm not talking about a man and woman. I'm talking about a
What?
man and his kids. That's what I'm talking about. The kids.
Man, his kids is
It's tough.
You're my kids. You tell me.
Do you have anything to say, Max?
No, I don't want to hear you guys do it talking. The thing about Granddaddy is about hearing the stuff with Granddaddy is valuable just to sort of really hear it from the both of you and to sort of give us a better sense of who he was, because we do ask a lot, and it's good to have it. It's good to sort of have a good sense from the both of you. It really brings him to life a lot more, because we do wonder a lot about him.
Yeah.
And, we've just got these pictures of him, and it's
pictures
doing a
don't
lot
say
to
it.
bring him to
Pictures
life
don't
here
say
in
it.
both.
But
Talk about
as a parent, man, there's very little about myself who I applaud as a parent. And I think any parent who applauds himself is a bad parent.
Amen to that.
All right?
Amen. I triple amen.
It's a dice game, man. God doesn't give you kids; He lends them to you. And they're on fucking loan, aren't they? They're His. If you believe the dogma that I was taught.
No, but you still, if you have children, like they say now, he's 43 or 44, he's 37 or 38.
Did I set a good example? No.
Yeah. But they still, you don't want to let go, but you still care what they do. You still want to
No
watch
shit.
out. Okay, then.
All I
That's
know
what I'm
is,
saying.
what can I do? All right? What can I do? I can get you a room at the Hyatt.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm telling you what I can do. Believe me, if it was the Thunderbird, I would have gotten you for the Thunderbird. You know that.
Yeah, but I think the important thing is an admission, and to hear you, Tommy, say what you've said about
From the bottom of your heart.
and it's a difficult thing, and it's not trying to inspire you to mimic him, but to inspire you to genuinely state how you might assess it all from your vantage point, given perspective, relationship and distance, age, and you have a daughter and
Yeah.
and 3 sons.
Well, I've given it more than casual thought. I am not the father that my father was. His focus was totally on his family and his kids and his wife. And my mother at times could be an extremely difficult wife. Made his life at times not a day at the beach.
Amen to that.
You know, she was very, she really liked to be the belle of the ball. And she would...
And if she wasn't, she
Oh.
would.
there
like
was
they
hell
always-
to pay.
Yeah.
There was hell to pay.
If Mama ain't happy, there ain't nobody happy. And that's what it was to a T with her.
So, and unfortunately, that's a 60-minute program with me because I have some very strong feelings about that. Yeah, but I'd like to go down to the DR and do a little more research on stuff. But from what I know, my mom was the apple of her father's eye, in a very sort of southern antebellum crazy thing in the Dominican Republic. She was like when she was 16, 17, they wrote songs about her. They still play in the Dominican Republic.
She was a beauty queen, and you have a
The
picture
whole-
of her with the
the-
crown,
more
with
than-
the
she
court
was
that she had.
La Reina de la Casa de España, that's like, you know, with a rocket going up. Her father was one of the most powerful men in the Dominican Republic. They wanted to run him for president. He hated the fucking niggers around the island. He didn't want to be president of that shit heap. At the same time, he was a Spaniard who landed there. And it was a very complex society. A Spaniard could do just anything so long as he made money. And he made money. Your great-grandfather and your mother's son owned the electric company in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, excuse me, and again, I could listen to that and find it very interesting too. And to your point, it could be a 60-minute program.
But here's where it's going. His daughter, Elvira, was the light of his eye for very intricate reasons that I don't even want on tape. All right? And when she married this apparent Spaniard and was going to come to New York, they didn't come here as your normal immigrants. You know, the old man had his little business and he was in his struggle. But if he had to, they had a plantation waiting for him back in the DR.
So you and Tommy and Jack had an unusual
You know, my mother would call up and say,
residency
send
here.
me a maid to her father. And he would. Right? So we had, you know, maids.
Well, that's all been resolved. So
No, it's not been resolved. Now, my mom was used to being queen of the maid. When my mom saw the house in Sands Point, after bugging my father about 90 houses, the old man would always dodge that bullet because he said, no, Elvira, that's too pricey. And when he saw the house in Sands Point, my mother would say, that's my house. All right? He said, after much, the old man he said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make an offer on it that I don't want to hear about it anymore. He made a ridiculous offer with a binder's fee on it, and they accepted it. I thought he was going to fucking shoot himself, all right? I said, oh, holy shit. You know what he paid for that house? $60,000 friggin' dollars. Now, 1946.
Honey, I don't want to go back to 1946.
Well, I'm just telling you.
No.
But just so that you see a semblance of what this was about.
That's,
What?
No, I want to, yeah.
You know, because you don't see, there's no other context to put it in.
Yeah,
Right? My mother was used to having 20 people running around ironing her dress. Remember Nino didn't know how to hang up a goddamn pair of pants? Well, duplicate that by 90, and that was it. Yeah. And then suddenly, she's living, she's having a kid in Brooklyn? Come on. It was, playing My Fair Lady in spades, because they knew at all times, you don't like this? I mean, when I say Brooklyn, the old man had a little apartment on Prospect Avenue, which was a nice little sort of like, young couples living in. But for my mother, she thought it was the greatest thing in the world. When she saw corn on the cob, she said, how long have they been eating this? She thought that was great shit. Right? For her, they used to take the little corns out and it was unreal. My old man celebrated her, right? Living in New York in 31. Depression's coming on. Yeah, they were affected a little bit, but very little bit. Her father had nothing but coin. The old man kind of knew. Worst comes to worst, go back there. All right, now, she was always the one. My mom had more balls than my dad. My mom was the one who shoved and said, hey, no, you can do this. Screw Janelle and the Stoppies. Do this and that. Do this. But he saw the house in Sands Point, said, no. My mother said, buy it. It'll bring us nothing but luck. Guess what? She was right. The old man didn't want that